Hey guys, welcome to our last lesson of the 1990s. We are flying through history here and only have time for 3 video lessons for this decade. So don't forget to make these lessons work for you. If you need to slow down or back up, please do so. Our lesson today is all about technology. So go ahead and write down our essential question: how did 90s technology impact our world? So in today's video, I'm going to cover what I mean by the tech boom. I'll define some new vocabulary for you and share a few examples. And we'll finish up with a quick summary of the impact of the 90s technology on us today. Okay, so the 90s is known for the tech boom, meaning this is a time where we saw a huge increase of technology during this time period. Now, the biggest technological advancement of the time feels really basic today, and that's the invention of the internet, or the World Wide Web. Now, we rely on the internet today, of course, not just to communicate on social media, but to research, to learn, to sell products, and grow businesses. This isn't the only important development of the decade. Early cell phones exploded during the time period. Now, these are not smartphones. These phones have no internet connection, but they do let people send text messages. I myself had a flip phone for a very long time. You can ask me about how to use it later. Video game consoles also became super popular too. Notably, Nintendo put out the Game Boy and the GameCube. And just a thought here, but if anyone has access to Madden 2003, just let me know. I'll play you and kick your ass anytime. I've had lots of practice. You know, it's a weird flex, but moving on. Let's look at some vocabulary words for this lesson. So first off is this word globalization. So during the 90s, our world becomes more connected than it ever had before. That is because technology helps us share not just things, but ideas. So think about it. Now with the internet, a company can create a product in the United States and then sell that product on the internet to anybody in the world. I'm going to show you a couple more examples of what I mean in a moment. During this time, we also see how ideas, customs, and technology actually spread from one place to another place. And we call that cultural diffusion. So a great example of cultural diffusion is McDonald's. McDonald's is, of course, an American fast food chain. It is a huge multinational corporation, and it's a company that has locations all over the world. Right? If you take a look at this McDonald's sign, you notice this is not in English. Fast food is a great example of cultural diffusion. And if you look at this middle picture here, you'll actually see a menu item from McDonald's that's only available in their locations in China. The buns are black because they use squid ink in the bread. McDonald's created an opportunity to make money in the Chinese market by changing their menu just a little bit to play to local customs and what people in China are used to eating. So the American custom of fast food spreads to a totally new and different culture. Music is an awesome example of this as well, right? For example, K-pop is South Korean music, and without the internet to share music tracks, it never would have become popular in the United States. Not all new technology is good, though, and I do want to share one dark side to globalization, and that's how it contributes to terrorism. So there are parts of the internet that exist to radicalize people and train them to terrorize communities. And in fact, the terrorists from 9/11 actually used email, right, a newer technology at the time, to help them plan that attack. Now, they knew if they were to send email messages to each other, then the US government could track those messages. So they actually just created one shared email account and wrote messages to each other that they would just save as a draft, right? So because those messages were just saved and never sent, our technology at the time could not read them. So technology has this awesome power to connect us, but it can also connect people to dangerous ideas and radical groups. Let's go ahead and wrap up. So the 90s is a time of huge economic growth, thanks both to the tech boom and Bill Clinton's economic policies as president. And of course, we talked about him in the previous videos. We also learned about how the internet forever changed and will keep changing how we communicate. And finally, we looked at some positives and also negatives to globalization, which has created a more connected world. That is it for today, guys. Thank you for listening. Do not forget to finish up your guided notes before you move on.